trying to use our phone and a selfie stick today so we can walk you around our garden, or what is left of the garden.
Yeah, it's not going to look too impressive right now.
We haven't been showing you our garden this year because it wasn't that. It wasn't nothing to brag about. So we have a decent sized garden here. Um, we use a back to Eden permaculture, food forest slash whatever you want to call it style of garden. So basically, we have wood chips and no shortage of manure from the rabbits and chickens, pigs. Um, so what we've been working on is trying to turn it into a bit of a food forest. So our garden comes around our chicken coop here and travels back, goes around our play yard, the other side of our coop, and in this area we have planted, let's try to figure this out as we go here with the selfie stick. We planted a peach tree, which we are hoping comes back. It lost its leaves by the end of the year. I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen. And we planted a plum, which is still doing well. Not sure. Can't really see too much about what you guys are seeing here. And on this side, where the garden wraps around the chicken coop, we've got planted 1, 2, 3, 4 apples, 5 apples, 2 pear, and a little farther back. Not very good at this selfie stick thing here. Our garden also wraps around the back of the play yard, where we have our blueberries and fig trees, strawberry patch, elderberries. We also have a lot of autumn olives around the garden on the perimeter, and honeyberry.
Mm-hmm.
Honeyberry was the other one. Okay, so
Or haskell.
or haskell, depending on what you know them as.
And we have our trellis system throughout the garden.
Yeah,
so we have pole beans drying for seed. Over here we have peas back there that I planted too late. They're not going to happen. I'd like to get some more next year.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should show them the wood chips.
Yeah, so Cindy took a few short videos last night that she's probably going to edit in here. We're trying to get, as we pull the old garden out and the weeds that have kind of taken over, we're slowly bringing in this year's wood chips. I think we made a mistake last year. We used a lot of potentially fresh wood chips. We grabbed a lot of free wood chips from one of the local cities, and I think a lot of that stuff probably could have sat longer. So in the end result, I think that was part of the reason our garden struggled a little bit this year. Maybe they weren't old enough, hadn't broken down enough yet. So this year what we did is we purchased a local tree company has what they call a mulch madness in around May 2-4 weekend. We call May 2-4 weekend, and you can purchase it cheaper. So we purchased 60 yards, which hopefully will be. I think that's what we brought in last year, but hopefully we purchased it in the spring. It was supposed to already be aged, and we let it sit all year in a big pile over by our laneway. And now we're going to bring it in here, spread it out. It's going to sit all winter, along with some fertilizer from the animals, and hopefully our outcome next year will be worth bragging about.
Yeah. It seemed like we bought too much at the time. Now we're not sure if it's enough.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's enough.
So we'll find out.
One other big mistake we made that we'll try to rectify somewhat. We did not lay down any cardboard or anything under the mulch. Big mistake. The weeds are coming through like crazy. So this time, at least in the hot spots, like against the fence where the grass is coming through, I want to lay down some cardboard under the new mulch, like scrape back the old mulch, lay it down, and cover it up again to see if we can avoid some of it next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we're a little bit lazy. It was such a large area. We should have maybe bought rolled paper. We would have never had enough cardboard or newspaper, but I guess we could have bought the rolled paper from the hardware store.
So learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. We weren't going to tell you guys that we messed up, but yeah, we messed up.
That's what this is about, learning.
Yeah, learning as we go. We tried to cheat. It didn't work. For the most part, it wasn't bad because even though we did get weeds, it is a lot easier to pull weeds when you have a ground cover, such as the wood chips.
Yeah, because our clay is horrible to pull weeds in, but this year it was actually pretty easy.
Yeah, that was part of what convinced us to go this route because we rototill our garden for a few years here. We've had a garden. This is the biggest one we've had, but we've always had a garden. And rototilling clay, I'm sure a lot of you guys have experience. It gets to be quite the task because it just gums up in the machine and it's just all around no fun. So we thought we would try this, and we're hoping as the years go by and we keep doing this that it will actually soften up the soil in the garden so it's a little more receptive to the root vegetables and things like that, because we had a horrible time trying to grow root vegetables in the hard clay.
Yeah, this is the first year carrots actually happened a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So there was a little progress there.
Yep. And it keeps the ground moist. It did do that.
Yes, it did. I mean, there's always the alternative where we can do raised beds, but we're hoping this will work. We really want to make this work, so we'll see what happens next year with it.
Yeah, and hopefully less weeds as well because of the screen. The
yes, screen yeah. The previous video, you guys probably saw me talking about the green windscreen, sorry, that we installed, and we're hoping that will actually also stop some of these weeds from going through. But
yeah, and guys, check out these neat little ornaments that Bert makes. You want him to make a video on these?
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. Look, it's cool.
The idea was for it to scare away some of the birds and the squirrels, but I don't think it works.
It's pretty.
Yeah, Cindy likes them. So it was something that when I was a kid, they used to bake using 2-liter pop bottles. It's a little more difficult now because the pop bottles are plastic is much thinner than it was, a few years ago when I was younger. Just a few years ago. So, but yeah, everything's coming along. Some of these apple trees that we planted, they're still looking very healthy. So there's a couple trees that maybe we're hoping we are going to survive for us. Wow, maybe that's better. A little distance might have made this better. See, just learning as we go. But we have the blueberries did quite well this year. We planted 4 blueberry bushes. They tend to not grow super well in clay, so what I did is I bought a large amount of peat moss and mixed it with the soil to loosen it up and to give that acidity that it needs. And these little red bushes, leaves with the leaves are red on these bushes right now. These are the blueberry bushes. But try to get a close up here. They've just turned that color for the winter, but you can see, if I can do this properly, these are all new growth. So it looks to be that it's taken well. Fig trees, as you can see, when I say fig trees, in this area, fig trees don't stay as trees. They die off every year. So, I mean, they're fig trees, sort of. They come back up every spring unless you protect them in some manner. Some people, what they'll do is they'll bend them and bury them, and then in the spring bring them back up. I don't do that. I just let them die off, and in the spring they'll start over from the ground again. So I've had them get taller than me, but for the most part, this is what we end up with. More like a bush than a tree, but That's
And
that's
our
okay.
strawberry patch, which I want to expand a lot next year because it actually worked out really well. Even though it's not a great garden year, strawberries, there was at least a handful every day. And expansion shouldn't be too hard because this kind is sending off shoots and starting new plants. So I'm hoping to fill this whole fruit area with strawberries.
Yeah. Yeah, elderberries. We planted a couple elderberries this year for the first time. And these trees, they're pretty small right now, but it is their first season with them. We bought them as just short trees. So our hope is, much like the autumn olives, we'll trim and put them around the perimeter of the property and try to plant more trees. So yeah, the season's changing quickly now here, where we're located. It's cooling off. It was down to 1 degree last night, 1 degree Celsius. So I'm not even sure what that converts to in Fahrenheit, guys. But it's starting to get cold. Zero for us is freezing. I think that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing. So it's in that area.
Yeah,
Um,
it went from summer to late fall very
yeah,
quickly. The day it hit autumn on the calendar, we haven't had a hot day since.
yeah, it's funny. It's we're the country's supposed to have 4 seasons, but as the years go by, it seems more like there's two: summer and winter. So anyway, that's just a quick uh, show and tell of what we've got going on here this year. So as you can see, we've already started bringing some of the piles of mulch in with a little Kubota, and as we get little sections cleaned up, we'll spread this out, and hopefully next year we'll be showing you an abundance of everything. Hopefully,
Lush.
lush.
Food
Let's
forest.
food forest. Yeah. Hopefully it all works out, and we can we can brag about not brag, but we can show people a success story instead of the other side of it that we experienced this year. Not for everything, but for a lot.
Yeah, if you guys had a good garden year, let us know because I haven't heard very good things about anybody's garden, but maybe in some places it was good.
Yeah, and if you have tips, like I know a lot of people, a lot of homesteaders do this permaculture, wood chip, mulch garden. If you've had good experience with it, how long did it take? Did it happen overnight, or was it 1 to 2 years? I'm very curious what the timeline would be. So
Yeah, we were hoping for great things, and then after we got a not so great result, we looked it up a little more, and then it said, "Oh, the first year is not going to be so great." So,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Anyway, guys, that was it. Hope you weren't too bored. We just want to do a little show and tell of what we had going on right now because it's kind of our oh well, sounds like the pigs are fighting. Makes me wonder if she's back in heat. The two boars tend to start getting a little aggressive with each other when the gilt is in heat. So anyway, guys, thank you.
Thanks.